Hi there! Welcome to this tutorial where I'll show you how to sew an inseam pocket. Before we start, let's go over the materials you will need. First, your fabric, lining, fusible interfacing which will be optional depending on fabric stability, the pocket patterns that will be linked in the description box, and finally your sewing materials. I love to incorporate these kind of pockets into my garments, and in this demo I'm actually working on my Lush Garden Dress pattern, and I will link the full tutorial here in case you want to check it out. And now let's quickly go over the pattern pieces you'll need for each pocket. 2 pocket bags, 2 facings, and 2 fusible pieces per pocket, which means that you will need to double this amount for the 2 pockets that you incorporate into your garment. And with that being said, let's jump right into the construction. On the pocket facings, we will need to add fuse to make it a little bit more structured and balanced. You can use the heat transfer of your preference depending on the fabric that you select. For best results, you can trim 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance around the all edges of the fusing piece. This will help you with the bulkiness. Then, using your iron, add the heat transfer fusing to the wrong side of the fabric on the pocket facing. On heat transfer fuse, the rough side is the one that contains the glue, so this is the side that must face the wrong side of the fabric. Now let's sew our pockets. To do this, we're going to start by turning 1/4 of an inch up on the edge of the facing piece, and we are going to use our iron to pre-crease it and keep it in place. Repeat this in the other facing since you need 2 of them per pocket. Place the facing on top of one pocket bag. Sew the facing to the pocket bag along the turn up edge and stay stitch the facing side to the pocket bag side to secure the facing in place. Repeat this procedure in the other pocket bag. Remember that you need 2 pocket bags per pocket. With right side facing, pin one pocket bag piece to the front side seam, aligning the top of the pocket with the marked placement, which means the notch that you will find on the body part, pinning in place to secure it. Sew the pocket piece to the side seam in between the notches that you will find on the pocket. Use 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Clip the notches as close as possible to the stitch without cutting it, and understitch the seam allowance to help with the folding. Once you understitch, fold your pocket to the wrong side of the fabric and make sure you align the seam allowance that you have left at the top and at the bottom of the pocket with the seam allowance of your dress. Here you already can see the opening of the pocket. I'm gonna press this area because I don't want to top stitch, so pressing will keep it in place. Then place the second pocket bag on top of the first, right side facing, and pin around the edges of the pocket, matching the notches. Finally, sew around the pocket bag using 1/2 inch of seam allowance, and knit the seams with a serger for a cleaner look. Now I'm going to take the opening of the pocket and I'm going to pin it away from the edge. In this way, we avoid it to be in between the seams when sewing. With right side facing, we're going to align the front and back pieces together. As you can see here, the front side will be part of the pocket and we are just going to align it together. I'm going to pin along the seam to keep it in place, and now I'm going to start sewing from the top of the side seam down using 1/2 inch of seam allowance, and I'm going to serge the seam close for a better finish. Finally, I'm going to press the seam towards the back using enough steam to keep it in place. And the last step to finish the pocket will be adding a bar tag. This is a type of secure stitch that is often used on pockets. It's a short, dense zigzag stitch that reinforces that areas of the pocket that have so much stress. This is a kind of a stitch that in the industry is made using a specific machine, and since we are working at home and probably any of us have access to that machine, we're gonna imitate that stitch using the zigzag of our domestic sewing machine. To sew your bar tag, you need to first adjust the stitch width to the narrow zigzag available in your machine and the stitch length to a very short length, almost zero, almost one, depending of your machine. This will help you to create a dense stitch. Then you will place the area you want to bar tag under the presser foot. Typically, you will do this bar tag at the ends of the pocket. Then you're gonna start stitching back and forth over the same spot couple of times to get a tight and compact stitch. The length of the bar tag should be around 3/8 of an inch, and this is something that you can mark before just to have an idea of what you are doing and where you are going. Sometimes you could see bar tags that measure half an inch. It will depend of the garment, but since we are working with this inseam pocket, we don't want that to be too bulky, but we want to be protected and to ensure durability in the garment. So we're going to repeat the same procedure in both edges of the pocket in both sides of the garment. And that's it, your inseam pocket is now complete. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please let me know in the comments how you feel about the process or if you have any additional tips we can share with each other. I love to hear from you. Have a happy sewing and I will see you next week. Bye!